The hatchery is the heart of any Zerg colony. It spontaneously generates larvae, which in turn are used to spawn your various warriors and minions. Now, create a drone and start gathering resources.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to level 1 of the Zerg campaign, my favorite race in the entire game.
Overlords provide control for your minions. As your forces grow in number, you must hatch more overlords to control them. You have enough minerals. Select a larva and mutate it into an overlord.
We finally get to play with my favorite race.
Warrior strains. You must generate the various hive structures. The drones themselves mutate into these structures. Yet be careful. Never use your last drone to make a building.
Okay, so interruptions, I hope, as far as I remember, at least are done for the meantime. So yeah, we get to play with the Zerg finally, and this is a pretty easy and straightforward level. Just a quick introduction on how to play with this awesome race. As you can see, for those of you completely new to Starcraft, the Zerg start off with a hatchery building, and they don't follow the same concept of building units like the Terran do. Instead, you have to go by larvae, and each hatchery spawns a maximum of 3 larvae per hatchery. So generally, if you want to keep things flowing with Zerg,
order your drone to become a spawning pool.
Generally, if you want to...
Notice that structures can only implant themselves upon the creep.
Generally, you want to go for multiple hatcheries.
Make creep colonies to extend the creep, but only a hatchery can be built upon open ground.
Okay, many interruptions thus far. The general idea behind playing with Zerg is you want to have as many hatcheries as you possibly can in order to keep the flow of units going. So we are going to be building another hatchery, but we're going to build it closer to the extractor to also get maximum out of the extractor mining while being able to make more units. So yeah, this level is not going to take very long to finish, needless to say. For the first bit of the game, focus on making drones just to get your resource count up and running. The spawning pool is important so that we can get access to Zerglings. As you can see, all of the units here are listed on the right side when selecting a larva. So rule of thumb would be to memorize your larva hotkey being S, which you can change in the Starcraft if you really want to.
I too am a cerebrate of the Overmind. I have located a small band of Terrans who could threaten the chrysalis and the hive cluster. You must not allow them to leave you alive.
Remember to put hotkeys on your hatcheries as well. It's a whole lot easier, in my opinion, to manage the macro flow of Zerg than with the other races, because your everything happens from your hatcheries. So you just hotkey your multiple hatcheries and then memorize the hotkeys and let things flow from there. Now, don't for a minute think that because of this, Zerg is a super overpowered race. That is not the case. Zerg units die incredibly quickly, and you have to keep your macro up in order to make full use of the might of the Zerg. So if you slack off with your macro, which happens lots of times, then yeah, you quickly fall behind, and it becomes increasingly difficult to build up your army again in order to hold back any attacks. Each race has got their strengths. Okay, so this building that I created over here is a sunken colony. It is the ground defense building for the Zerg. A pretty damn strong defensive building. Tough as nails, and also does a ton of damage. So pulling a couple of these in certain maps or in certain scenarios is definitely a good idea. There is an era version as well that we don't have access to just yet, but we'll have access to later on. So our drone count is coming on very nicely. After this, we are just gonna pretty much focus on making units. So yeah. Another handy thing about the Zerg to keep in mind is the burrow ability. Now this is a very handy ability to use when you want to annoy your opponents. And what I mean by annoy your opponents, you you can, for an example, borrow a Zergling by a mineral line to make it impossible for your opponent to expand. So yeah, just little things like that to keep in mind. Now, I am building a third hatchery because the mineral flow is going to be able to support it. We do have access to hydralisks as well, which is going to be pretty nice to make use of too. But at this stage, we're just going to get Zerglings to do the job for us. And then if we save up enough minerals, we can go ahead and make some hydralisks as well. If we can always have 3 larvae readily available, that would be awesome. We do have access to upgrades as well, but it's not necessary. So now we have Zergling speed up and running. The next thing we can go to is hydralisk speed. So now we can actually start putting on pressure on our opponent. Should be noted that Zerglings are really cheap to make, 50 minerals, and then you get access to 2 Zerglings at a time. So yeah, just keep those little things in mind. In essence, 25 per Zergling. And this is what makes the Zerg effective is the surround part. So why we need hydralisks in order to deal with things like these raids. Now, don't worry too much about me just sacrificing all of my Zerglings. It's not a big problem. Ideally, this is the way that you would play with Zerg. Just hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. Multiple hit and run attacks. From here on out, just keep on producing Zerglings. Get what units we can. And yeah, be on the move. We do have enough hydralisks in order to deal with pretty much anything that the Terran has got. The hydralisks in StarCraft 1 I find to be a lot more powerful than what they are in StarCraft 2. Just overall toughness-wise and the amount of damage that they can do to a large variety of units. So yeah, for sure, make use of hydralisks in this version of StarCraft. They are incredibly handy. From here on out, we are just pretty much gonna spam unit production.
Our forces are under attack.
Go back with our units, just for now. Get a couple more units going. Yeah, Goliaths do quite well against hydralisks. But Zerglings do even better against the Goliaths. And from here on out, we have pretty much secured this level.
Our forces are under attack.
And now we just clear out what they have left.
Our forces are under attack.
Can actually just hotkey all of our hatcheries onto this location over here and keep on spawning Zerglings. And this is basically how you overrun. Pretty awesome, huh?
Our forces are under attack.
Now the Zerglings become even stronger later on, not just with normal melee attacks, but they actually do get increased attack speed in the later game as well. Which makes the Zergling one of my favorite units to use in this version of StarCraft. Mission accomplished. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick introduction to the Zerg for this campaign. In level 2, things are going to become a little bit more difficult as we face off against the Protoss and get access to some other units. Things develop pretty quickly in this campaign, so don't go away, stay tuned and keep track as we progress and learn more about how this magnificent and brutal race works. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.